One of the summer's biggest hits, Dave the Diver, is now on the Nintendo Switch, a full circle moment for director J-Ho Hwang, who grew up loving Nintendo games.
Yeah, I believe every single developer must have taken some sort of inspiration or influence from Nintendo games, right? Well, there are many people who love games in Korea. We grew up with StarCraft, Diablo, and a lot of Nintendo games and Final Fantasy. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this trend continues and there are more well-made video games coming out from Korea in the future.
Korea has historically been known for producing freemium games, primarily focused on the mobile and PC markets with games like MMORPGs or free-to-play games. But with games like Dave the Diver, we're seeing more focused, single-player experiences that have captured millions of gamers with addictive gameplay and compelling storytelling. For Dave the Diver to find the success that it did, Hwang looked inwards at his own history and passions to find the recipe to success. What sticks out immediately about Dave the Diver is that it's hard to put down once you start. That's because Dave the Diver has an ingenious gameplay loop that immediately sucks you into its vortex, turning minutes into hours almost instantly.
We wanted to create something different from the crafting the house or base. So I mean, we had a lot of discussion internally, what could be really like fun aspect from the ocean we can take, and that was sushi. So the sushi is very intuitive, and if you're going water and capture fish, that's something you can immediately think of. So I think that was a great idea from the team that we made a sushi as a concept, and that kind of make the game pretty unique compared to existing the ocean games.
In Dave the Diver, you play as, well, Dave, a deep-sea scuba diver roped into helping a nearby sushi restaurant by catching fish in the morning and afternoon, and then serving the day's catch to customers at night. During the sunlit, free-roaming adventure section of the game, you'll dive under a beautiful ocean, encountering fish both tasty and dangerous to catch. The beauty of the ocean was captured thanks to the team's real-life experience deep-sea scuba diving.
I used to live on Jeju Island, which people call the Hawaii of Korea. And then there was a Japanese pub on the beach that made a strong impression on me. The owner caught fish in the morning and used that fish to make dish in the evening. So I found this concept really interesting. Then I had the idea to make a game out of it.
For those who haven't been lucky enough to visit the island of Jeju, it's a beautiful place known for tropical fauna and tons of good seafood. That Dave the Diver's oceanside gameplay was born from this island is not surprising. However, several of Hwang's developers are themselves avid scuba divers.
We do have some members of the team who have scuba diving license, even though I'm the one who came up with the initial concept. We got some advice from these guys who are really passionate about scuba diving for more details. We did scuba diving together and we went overseas and did scuba diving all together, and it was beautiful and I really wanted to learn myself.
But scuba diving and catching fish is just one aspect of Dave the Diver. At night, the game flips to a management sim where Dave, working for the sushi chef Bancho, must serve customers food and drinks in a timely manner lest they get upset and leave their seats without paying. Furthermore, there will be times when VIP customers come through with very specific meal requests. These requests require unique tools or skills to obtain, but they also add more challenge and fun to running the restaurant.
It'll feel different if you have a VIP customer to serve at night, or if you have a party to prepare. And when you successfully serve the customer, then new system will be unlocked, so that affects the core gameplay as well. It's kind of expanding.
As it turns out, the restaurant portion itself has an unlikely inspiration.
I'm personally a big fan of Metal Gear Solid series, including Peace Walker on PSP. So in that game, you'd go on serious spy mission, but then you'd have to run your base with kidnapped soldiers. So I found this method of combining combat and tycoon element really intriguing. So yeah, that really inspired me.
Happy customers lead to profits, which can then go back into the restaurant to upgrade the decor and menu, as well as letting you upgrade your gear so you can swim deeper to catch even more fish. But the deeper you go, the more you discover that there are tons of hidden mysteries below the waves. Amid all the fish catching and restaurant managing, Dave the Diver ties it all up in a grand adventure story of ancient civilizations and deep-sea mystic creatures. The sheer scale of the game, and how it gradually opens up into this grand adventure story, is just one of the big coups Mint Rocket pulled off.
I think the core gameplay loop in Dave the Diver is pretty fun, but at some point, it gets boring if you repeat the same thing over and over. We decided to add some spice to it to keep it fresh, even though you are doing the same fish hunting and fish serving.
Huang thought a lot about how to keep Dave the Diver interesting for players, especially given how non-assuming a deep-sea diving and restaurant game might initially appear to players with no knowledge of the game.
I'm constantly asking myself that when would the game get boring? And what need to be introduced to make it feel refreshing to the users. I mean, if you introduce too many ingredients at once, I think it can become too overwhelming, but if you introduce them too slowly, you will have the risk of things become boring and slow.
With so many different systems to discover in Dave the Diver, you might think Mint Rocket simply added everything they could think of to the game, but that's not the case.
Well, it may seem like everything is okay, then put it into the game, but actually there was a lot of no within the team, and a lot of people say no to my own proposal too. Just because someone suggests the idea, if we start to put that in, that's gonna make us lose the game development direction. So we try to freely discuss and pick and choose from idea that came up in the discussion, which of course involves a lot of no's and of course a lot of yeses.
One minigame that was cut from Dave the Diver that Huang revealed to IGN is a dart game using a pufferfish. But because pufferfish are also used for a dish that can be served at the restaurant, it conflicted with the smooth gameplay loop that Mint Rocket set out to create, and thus had to be cut.
Since pufferfish is something you can capture in the game, so they kind of collide with existing the fish capturing system. So our internal question, hey, so what are we gonna do with this pufferfish after the dart minigame? So these things, so that kind of makes some confusion with the system, so we kind of cancelled it.
With over 1 million copies sold, Dave the Diver has been a big hit for Mint Rocket, and potentially a turning point for the Korean games industry, long associated with free-to-play games relying on microtransactions.
I know the Korean games are pretty well known for the freemium game with the brutal monetization, but I do believe there are a lot of developers who are working on the video games without those the shady monetization.
With games like Dave the Diver, but also other single-player hits like Lies of P, the future of the Korean game scene could look very different.
We grew up with StarCraft, Diablo, and a lot of Nintendo games and Final Fantasy, the JRPG. So I wouldn't be surprised if this trend continues with some pioneers. I mean, I don't know if I can call myself or Lies of P as a pioneer, but let's say we are, and if this trend continues and there are more well-made video games coming out from Korea in the future, and I hope, of course, Lies of P and Dave the Diver is very successful game, but I think in the future more game will come out and it becomes like BTS or Parasite.
For more on Dave the Diver, check out our full video review. And for everything else gaming, stick with IGN.